What is up guys, and welcome to a new series where I use money making guides from the OSRS Wiki. If you guys enjoy this idea, I'll definitely make more and try to run through every single one of these on the list, no matter how ridiculous they might be. I'll be trying and testing out these money makers to see how accurate they are so you don't have to. Let's get into the video. So for today's video we have a request from someone and they want us to do 1 hour of Cannonballs, and honestly I jumped at the chance of making this video because I know that this is a very easy moneymaker and the requirements are relatively low. It's a pretty popular moneymaker for people who decide to make alt accounts so that they can make a little extra money on the side. And I actually haven't done this in a very long time, so I thought we'd jump back into it and see what the price is like now. Now for this moneymaker, you will have to have completed the quest Dwarf Cannon to get the ammo mold, which you will be using to smith the cannonballs, and you would need 35 smithing. As for the inventory setup, I'm just wearing my Graceful along with the max cape, but honestly this isn't even necessary because your run energy, although it will deplete when you run from the Edgeville Bank to the furnace, it will replenish whenever you're actually making the cannonballs because you're sitting there for a very long time before you actually do a full inventory. And then of course we're using the bank fillers to just keep the bank nice and organized and so that we can just get everything as fast as possible. And with that being said, we can go ahead and jump right into the 1 hour of making cannonballs. So the cool thing about this moneymaker is that it is very AFK. Out of all the moneymakers that I've done in the past, I believe this is the most AFK one. Whenever you go to the furnace and start making the cannonballs, you will be AFKing for a good, I'd say over 2.5 minutes before you have to do another action, so it's very chill. Now you have plenty of furnaces to choose from when you're deciding on which one you want to use for this moneymaker, but the one that we're using is the Edgeville furnace because it is pretty close to the bank and it has no requirements. So this is a very popular furnace that people use whenever they make a brand new account to make cannonballs. Some of the other options that you have to choose from are actually less distance between the bank and the furnace, but for those you will need other requirements. So there is a furnace that is in Prifddinas, but you will need to complete Song of the Elves, and honestly if you've completed Song of the Elves you're much better off doing different moneymakers than this one. Some other ones that you can use are the one in Al Kharid, but you do need to do Prince Ali Rescue. You can also use the one in Port Phasmatis, but you need to do Ghost Ahoy for that one. And then last but not least, you can use the one in Neitsnot, but you do need to complete the Fremnik Isles. And again, if you've completed those quests, you probably have access to a better moneymaker than making cannonballs, so I wouldn't bother with those. But if you do have access to those furnaces and you still find yourself wanting to make cannonballs for money, go ahead and use those because those will actually increase the amount of cannonballs you can make per hour, which therefore increases the amount of money that you can make. Now, aside from the nice money that you'll be making from doing this AFK moneymaker, you'll also be getting a small amount of smithing XP, which I'll go over towards the end of the video. I'll go ahead and show how much we made and of course how much XP we gained after this 1 hour of smithing cannonballs. Now the good thing about smithing cannonballs is that these will always have a use. The main use for cannonballs is of course to put them in a cannon and use them for Slayer. They really help with speeding up tasks, so if you didn't already know that, I highly recommend using them because some of these tasks are very painful to do, such as well, I wouldn't say painful, but I'd say very time consuming if you attack each monster individually. Some popular places that I would use my cannon at was at Dagonoths, cow fights, and just any Slayer task that has a bunch of monsters around you. In fact, even if it's not a monster that there is a lot of, it's still nice to bring because it makes the task more AFK because you can just sit there, let the cannon attack the monster for you, and then the monster will aggro onto you and your auto retaliate will take care of the work. The cannonballs can actually be improved by using granite dust on them, which you get from a boss known as the Grotesque Guardians. Essentially this just makes the max hit of the cannonball go from 30 to 35. And if you're like me, you're probably wondering what is on the cannonballs. It is the Christmas season, so I was just thinking that it was of course like snow on top of the cannonballs, but upon further inspection I noticed something on top of it and I had no idea what it was, so I looked it up on the wiki and apparently the cannonballs resemble Christmas pudding. I had no idea what that was and it's probably because it is traditionally served as part of a Christmas dinner in the UK. So me being from the US, I had no idea what that is, but the more you know. It's always nice to learn about new small little things that happen in this wonderful game that we all enjoy. Now, with like all moneymakers, I do recommend putting in an offer for the steel bars overnight. That way you can get them at a cheaper price and ultimately maximize the profits that you make from smithing cannonballs. The same can be said for whenever you are selling your cannonballs. Just put them in the GE for, a little higher than market price or whatever they're selling for, and let them sit there overnight so that you can get even more money from this money making method. Later on in this video, I will be showing off what the prices of cannonballs and steel bars has been looking like the past few days, because we did unfortunately get a little unlucky with the prices. So as always, I'd say make sure you do some research before you start doing a moneymaker so that you can decide if it's worth it. So even though we might not make as much as the wiki says that we're going to make, I still thought I'd go ahead and make the video, that way you can decide for yourself whether you want to pursue this moneymaker or not. And with that being said, we have finished the 1 hour of making cannonballs, and here you'll be seeing that the OS Buddy price is much lower than what the market price is. So we're going to go ahead and put them in there for around 165 just to see if they sell. And to my surprise, they actually instantly sold, which was very, very surprising to me. I thought that we were going to have to let them sit there for a long time with the price that we put them in there for, but I guess the prices are always fluctuating, and I don't know. I honestly don't know why the price of cannonballs went down so much and why the price of steel bars went up. So if you have any idea why that happened, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. So we managed to make around 374,000 from selling the cannonballs, and now we can go ahead and do a calculation of how much total profit we made. But before we go into that calculation, I thought I'd go ahead and show the prices and how unlucky we got with the timing of making this video. So as you can see here, we have the steel bar graph on the GE. As of making this video, today is December the 20th, and as you see here, the price spiked up as soon as I decided to make the video. So just yesterday they were worth a lot less than what the price is today. So I don't know what caused that. I'll just chop it up to bad luck, I guess. And now we can go ahead and look at the cannonball, and you will see that the price for the cannonball actually went down as well, just the day before. So as you can see here, we are showing the days, and today's date, it's going down. So yeah. And the GE can only track a certain, percentage of decline or increase at a time. So these aren't even the accurate prices. You saw the accurate prices whenever we were selling off everything. And I'll go ahead and show them again here. We'll look for the steel bar, and as you can see, it is trading for 458, which is a lot more than the 414 that you see right there in the market price. And then for the cannonball, again, the market price is 180, but here in the actively traded price, it shows 153. So do some research before you decide on which moneymaker you want to do, because the prices of items are always changing. So just be on the lookout for that. And yeah. With all of that out of the way, we can now go to the next screen and do the final calculations for how much money we made in this 1 hour of smithing cannonballs. So if we take the amount of money that we spent on supplies, which was 257,418 GP, and we subtract that from the amount of money that we got from the cannonballs, which was 374,220 GP, we get a grand total profit of 116,802 GP. So overall, I'd say that's a decent amount of money made for the amount of effort that we have to put in. You do have to remember that this is a very, very low requirement, and that pretty much anyone can make this sort of alt. And it is very AFK. Again, you're AFKing for like over 2.5 minutes at a time, where you're just making the cannonballs. So I'd say it's a pretty decent moneymaker. And as always, I'll go ahead and throw up the estimation of what the OSRS Wiki says that you'll make, and how much XP that you'll get, and I'll go ahead and throw up how much XP I made after this 1 hour, which was around 14.5 thousand smithing XP. So we made less than what the wiki says, but we did get a little more experience than what it says, so it's a small trade-off. But I think the reason why we didn't make as much as the wiki said we were going to make is because the wiki probably uses the market price data for their calculations instead of the like OS Buddy actively traded prices, which is more accurate. But yeah, so that's why I say always do some research, find out on your own how much you'll get, check the margins on items, and yeah, do your research before you pick a moneymaker. And with that being said, I just want to say thanks for checking out the video. If you did enjoy it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and possibly a subscription. It is much appreciated. And I will catch you guys in the next video.